David Strickland was born on October 14, 1969, in Long Island, New York. As a child, his family moved to Princeton and ultimately to Los Angeles, where he began a career in acting. Strickland had small roles in several TV shows like Dave's World and Roseanne and Sister Sister, but his best-known success was his role as a rock music reporter in the 1996 NBC sitcom Suddenly Susan, starring Brooke Shields.
Okay, Vicky, here's your bran muffin and orange juice. Change. It's in the bag. Okay, and Todd, you had the chocolate glazed and the Jolt Cola.
No Skittles?
Oh, they were out.
Okay, it's not going to seem like breakfast now.
Sweets, I have the...
In life, Strickland struggled with substance abuse, depression, and he was diagnosed bipolar. A few months before he died, he was arrested for possession of illegal narcotics. He pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 3 years probation and rehab. Now, it's worthy to note that Strickland himself recently stopped taking his prescription, lithium. Now, his career was heading upward. On March 19, 1999, the romantic comedy film Forces of Nature debuted. Strickland had a role alongside Ben Affleck and Sandra Bullock, where he played Bullock's ex-boyfriend. In real life, Strickland was romantically linked with actress Tiffany Amber Thiessen. We're in Santa Monica right now, and this is the last home of actor David Strickland. And I'm going to be very careful crossing the street because it's quite dangerous. $29.10. So this is actually quite a distance from Warner Brothers. So I don't know if you got a car pick them up every day for work. I'm not sure, but this is not an easy drive. We are staying kind of close to Warner, and it's easily 45 minutes from here, and it's heavy traffic too. So, but this is where Strickland lived. David Strickland's last home. He packed up from this house to go to Vegas and never come back. But I just wanted to point out, way in front of us, you'll see Warner Brothers Studios. And for the David Strickland thing, Warner Brothers Studios up ahead, where you see that water tower in the distance where the road ends. And if you watch my other video, you know that's Walton's Mountain back there. That's where they made Suddenly Susan. On Saturday, March 20th, 1999, Strickland was spending a wild weekend away in Las Vegas with actor Andy Dick. They were going to hang out in strip clubs and plan to drink a lot, and whatever else. He and Andy Dick were spotted at 1 a.m. on Sunday the 21st in the Glitter Gulch Strip Club. After he left the club, Strickland checked into the Oasis Motel on Las Vegas Boulevard, just north of the Stratosphere Tower. The motel advertised adult movies and, quote, fantasy rooms. At the time, it cost $55 a night to stay in this dump, and Strickland registered in his own name and put it on his Amex card. Motel owner Peter Napoli said that Strickland was alone when he checked into room 20. A short time later, Strickland walked to a local 7-Eleven and bought a 6-pack of Coors beer. Upon his return to the motel, a woman in the lobby recognized him walking through the parking lot. She approached him and asked who he was. She said he didn't talk much, and she could not get him to tell her who he was. It turns out the woman was a professional worker, and the two disappeared into Strickland's room, She left about 20 minutes later. According to her, as she walked away, Strickland said to her, "Some important changes are going to happen in your life." He closed the door to room 20. Inside room 20, Strickland drank the beers. He put the empties on the nightstand. Wearing blue jeans, a khaki shirt, and black high tops, Strickland tied the white king-size bed sheet around his neck, climbed on a chair, tied it to the rafters, and stepped off. He was 28. When Strickland didn't check out of his room at 10:30 the next morning, the motel manager called his room twice. After no answer, an employee was sent to the room with the master key, and she discovered Strickland deceased. She ran to the office, where an ambulance was called. There was also a report that Strickland was due in Los Angeles to make a court appearance that very day relating to the narcotics bust that I mentioned earlier. Concerned, his good friend and Suddenly Susan co-star Brooke Shields hired a private investigator who quickly tracked down Strickland and found him in the Vegas motel room. Either way, paramedics arrived at the scene, got him down, and tried unsuccessfully to revive him. On the day David Strickland died, the movie he co-starred in, Forces of Nature, was the #1 movie in the country. There were no notes. There was nothing suspicious about the scene. He had no car. There was no plane ticket found in the room, so police didn't even know how he got to Vegas. There are conflicting reports about illegal substances being in the room. Andy Dick, who was still in Las Vegas, was contacted by authorities to help ID Strickland. David Strickland was sent back to Los Angeles, and his funeral was held at Forest Lawn, Glendale. Brooke Shields was there, as was Judd Nelson, Juliana Margulies, and Strickland's girlfriend, Tiffany Thiessen. The family splashed out an extra $400 for security at the funeral, which had to be claimed later from David's estate. David was cremated, and his ashes were given to his family. A few weeks later, an episode of Suddenly Susan was taped entitled Todd Dies. The cast and crew were processing David Strickland's death, and a highly emotional episode was the season finale, addressing David's death by also having his character in the show pass away. By the way, you can still stay in the Oasis Motel and even request the room. It'll cost you about $170, and you can smoke in the room. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you would like it or dislike it, or leave a comment and hit the little bell or subscribe thing, it would mean a lot. If you sit through an ad, it means a little bit more, because this is my living now. I want to especially thank the people who are sponsoring my page. There's a Patreon link below if you'd like to sponsor me for a couple of bucks a month, or there's also a PayPal link. And I want to thank the people who have actually used that PayPal link, especially Andrew Ola and Ann Meyer, and new Patreon subscribers, Grace Bryant, Derek Park, David Penny, and of course, James Harrington. Thank you. Welcome back. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. And until next time.
You heard me.